If I asked you what the best weapon was for pure damage, you would probably say the giant sword or the dark claymore. But there's actually a weapon that can do way more damage than either of those, and it only costs 300,000 coins to craft. So a giant sword or a dark claymore does 500 damage. The dark claymore also has 100 strength extra. But if you get an emerald blade, you can go... If you get 500 million coins, you can in your purse. You don't even have to spend them or anything. You just have to have them. You can deal 500 damage, just like a giant sword or dark claymore. But you can go up to 2 billion coins, and at that point, you can do over 600 damage. That's like over 20% more damage than a giant sword. But most people still just use the giant sword for things like Enderman Slayer or something where you just need a lot of damage like that. But a one for all emerald blade does a lot more damage than giant sword. So, and even at just 500 million coins, it's already the same. And a dark claymore already costs like 500 million coins, but you don't even have to spend them on the emerald. The only problem with the emerald blade is that you can't use it in dungeons, because in dungeons you don't have a purse, so it's completely useless in dungeons. So the giant sword would definitely still be better there. But if you're doing something like Slayers or things on the Crimson Isle where you just need damage, the Emerald Blade is definitely the best for that. So here you can see a chart of the Emerald Blade's damage. It starts at 130, but pretty quickly, like even at 100 million coins, it's still kind of close to a giant sword. But at 480 million coins, you can match its damage. Oops. But the maximum damage bonus cap is 2 billion coins, and it's actually 658. So it actually does more than 30% more damage than the giant sword. So I really don't know why more people don't use the emerald blade compared to the giant sword, because the giant sword is a really popular weapon. The emerald blade is also a good alternative for something like a shadow fury. The cheapest shadow fury on the auction house is 32 million coins, and it does 310 damage if you frag it. But an emerald blade with just 26.9 million coins, so less than the price of the shadow fury, already does the same amount of damage as the shadow fury, and you don't even have to spend those coins, and in the future it'll get upgraded once you get more coins. And the same is true for something like a pigman sword or something like that, or an AOTD. If you're at that stage of the game where you have like 10 million coins or something, it would probably be better to use an emerald blade than a AOTD or pigman sword or something. So right now I have about 21 million coins in my purse, and this emerald blade without hot potato books does 300 damage, while pigman sword only does 200 damage, and then a bunch of other stats, but those stats are not as good as 100 extra damage. But 300 damage is also the damage of a Shadow Fury. So just with 21 million coins, you can have a weapon as good as a Shadow Fury without actually having to spend the coins. The reason this is so good is because you don't have to spend the coins. Like, I just walk around with 100 million coins in my purse, and I have a weapon that is way better than any other weapon I have unlocked, because I can't afford a giant sword or a dark claymore. But even at just like 30 million coins, this weapon's better than any other weapon besides a giant sword or a dark claymore for damage.